Hey everyone, it's Lori Opal. Hello, welcome to day 2 of the Thank You universe. One more please, 3-day deep dive gratitude challenge. I know that's a lot to say, but I wanted us to really drop in. So come on in, say hello when you get here. As always, I'm excited to get with you today. And not only take a deep dive on all things manifesting and personal transformation, but really truly activate a vibration. So that's what we're going to do today. Very specifically, we're going to activate some vibrations. So come on in, say hello. And I would love to see who's in the house. And I would also love to see if my technology is rocking out today. Let me just get with you on Evolution of You group and see where we all are. Give me a second. Come on in. Hello. Say hey and throw me some emojis or tap me some hearts or do some goodness on. Throw me some goodness on your side. There we are. Well, I'm still not seeing comments, but I'm seeing them here on my computer. Hey, hey Suzette, hi Ellen, hi Tara, hi Marlene, hey. Come on in. And as you all trickle in, I hope this kind of starts to catch up. So until then, I will sit here. So Jennifer, hello. So, oh my gosh. So yesterday, I'll just tee this up. So if you missed yesterday, go and find it in the feed here. It's I think probably right below this one. But yesterday we kicked it off and I'm going to do a really, really fast review, mostly of the exercise that I had you do for the next few days, just so that you can jump right in. But go ahead and, dive into day 1 because, it sets foundation. And I think it's really important that we kind of, feel into the possibilities, I guess, of the simple work and the simple framework, even that we're putting into place over the next few days. So I hope you get a chance to review that, to watch the replays. These replays will be out for a little while, so dive in. So if you're watching me right now, live, let me know. I'm seeing you over here. And if you're watching me on replay, give me a hashtag replay. I'm gonna see if I can make this just a little better. So hey, good morning. Hi, Christina, good morning. All right, awesome. So for those of you that are new to me, and if this is your first chance jumping in, I want to thank you, by the way, for bringing your people, bringing your family, bringing your people along to this group and to this work. It really does mean a lot to me when you share the goodness. So lots of changes have happened here and in this group, previously known as, and I feel myself saying this even quite a few months later, but previously known as the Manifestation 100. Although the Manifestation 100 is rocking out and alive and well, the Evolution of You group is really a place, to come and explore all kinds of different things. Because, as you know, it's not just about the manifesting, it's about the transformation, and it's about the becoming. And that really is where I want to hold space for us. And so hence the name change, but programming is still in full swing, and I'm excited about always what's in store. So thank you, universe, one more please. For those of you that are new to me, a lot of people come and say, why do you say that? That is weird, that is hokey. And truth be told, and I told this story in day 1, so I'll make it short today, but truth be told, that was a bit of a Loriism that way back in my own unfoldings, in my own development of what manifests, what created a really amazing manifestation practice, both for you, but for myself, I, had my little secret stash. And thank you, universe, one more please, was part of my secret stash. And one fine day, I shared it with you, and it kind of took on a life of its own. And so it's really energy work. It's a sacred sequence in its own right. It's 2-part, thank you, universe. And part 2 is one more please. I have a article on my on my website, which unfortunately I did not link here this morning, but it's lorijeanopal.com / this is going to be difficult. lorijeanopal.com / thank-you-universe -1-more-please. So why I did that, I don't know. Maybe we'll try to update that to make it easier, but that's how it came out of me. And I had that linked yesterday so that you could kind of follow along, but today I didn't get it linked, so my apologies. But I think that you can find the link if you want to. But otherwise, I'm going to go back and link it right here in the replay, after this conversation. So anyway, thank you, universe. One more, please. Was a Loriism, was a way that, when I started my coaching practice and I was intent on, connecting with all of you, and every single time a client would come in that was a perfect vibrational match, every single time the universe dropped breadcrumbs to me that I would be like so excited to be, receiving every single time that something better happened than I could have ever imagined. I always said, thank you, universe, one more, please. And there was a level of embodiment in those words that over time I started to share with you via this particular article. And also that I taught so many of you in some of the classes and some of the sister programming, and it really became a foundational piece. And what I want to share with you is that, gratitude opens doors, absolutely. Appreciation is like a connection to a deep portal of crazy kind of alignment. But one more, please. The part that sounds so hokey is really a mantra for receiving. And what I found is that we have a hard time with receiving, and it's one of our biggest blocks. And so while we can be awesome manifestors and we can have, the best vision boards, and we can be doing all the things to lay the vision on the field, if we don't have our own worthiness in check, and if we don't have our own receiving vibration in check and expanded, sometimes what we do is we block our own manifesting. And so I found myself doing that. I found myself blocking my own good. And one of the ways that I started to jostle that and unearth that and kind of work through that, heal that, whatever, was to, with deliberateness, come to this statement of one more, please. I open myself up to this and something more. And so I want to kick off today that I'm not going to read you the whole article, but I would like to seed this, I would like to seed the beginning of this class today with part 1 and part 2, because it's energy work in all the ways. And I want to plant the seed in you with the vibration that we hold for this. So when we say thank you, universe, right? We say, thank you, universe. This is what's under that. This is the embodiment of it. It's I stand in massive gratitude and appreciation. And as I do, I become a vibrational match to love. I honor the divine unfolding that brought me this beauty, this experience in my reality, this magic, this moment of awe, and I am beyond grateful. I feel this appreciation to my core, and I revel with pure delight. I am overwhelmed with appreciation and delight as magic flows through me in my life. Now, when you say thank you, can you imagine that being the Webster Dictionary description of that phrase? That's what's installed. And when we say one more, please, it's like this. I consciously open myself up to receiving this and something more, more. I open my heart to all that you have in store for me. One more, one more. I humbly detach from the outcome and I trust the unfolding. I trust that the universe is conspiring in my favor, that everything is happening for me, delivering circumstances beyond my imagination. I joyfully dance and play with this energy of this universe, because when I do, I become a vibrational match to source and to limitlessness and endless possibility. Now, when you say one more, please, feel into the layers of magnetism. I want you to feel into the layers of magnetism that are activated when you shift your attention to something different, okay? And it's not just the words. It is not just them coming out of your mouth. It is the feeling behind them. And that's why we activate that on the quantum field. And what happens? Oh my gosh, when we celebrate, when we're grateful, when we are appreciating, we draw more to us to appreciate, to be grateful, and to celebrate. Every single time. I have had people who haven't done the broader programming so much open big time gateways just with this one tiny thing alone. Thank you, universe. So if you're just starting out here, this is a wonderful place to begin, especially if you're like feeling into the teachings. But I want you to feel like the power of the activation. When I do challenges, when I call something a challenge, it just means we're going to show up to it with some spiritual grit and get excited. And I'm going to like participate, right? That's how challenge feels to me. But when I do challenges, when I do these events, when I do these journeys, it's with the intention truly of activating a frequency so that you can like make a change right now. And that's what I wanted these 3 days to be like for you, even if it was a maybe reignition of that which you already know. As spiritual teachers and as spiritual students and spiritual seekers, actually is a better, broader term. As spiritual seekers, you know, we go, I know that. Be grateful. What's the big deal? And I'm like, we're missing the point. Activate your heart center. Ignite the energy and do it differently than you've ever done it before. Because while gratitude is an inroad and a back door to what I like to say it's like an inroad or a back door to activating your magnetic center. It isn't all there is, but when we step over the basics or we step over the step one because we think we know, we're missing the point. So this is an activation, and today I want to deepen that activation because you're like, what is an activation anyway? Like, Lori, what are you even talking about? So I'm going to talk about embodiment today. I want to talk about activating energetically in your field, and there's no better topic to talk about this than thank you, universe, one more please, because that's what I want for you. I want you to be like, I am so activated, so deeply activated in my frequency with gratitude, deep gratitude, and I like to say deep appreciation, deep self-appreciation. I'm so activated. I cannot in this moment not be like a hot magnetic crystalline divine frequency to all that I desire and more. I can't not be. I can't not have a hot magnetic pull to the dreams that I want to create. Because when we create that kind of alignment, the earth moves, life moves, energy moves. It must, it's law. So I come with some conviction and laying it down on this beautiful framework of thank you, universe, one more please, because I've seen the magic happen in so many of your lives and in my own too. And I've also seen the stuckness grab me when we're not there. And is it easy to get into thank you, universe, one more please when you're not, when you don't have, miraculous rainbows dropping in front of you? It can be. So that's why I gave you the exercise yesterday, and I just want to recap this really. Who did the exercise? Raise your hand, raise your hand, raise your hand. I'm going to go back to my comments. Who did the exercise? Jennifer Chris 1111. Thank you. Central time zone, right? But who did this exercise or wrote it down, felt it, driving down the road, like got into this on some level? Because yesterday I asked you to say, let's get detailed. There are 4 ways that we can really be in gratitude. And that is being grateful for what was, being grateful for what is, being grateful for what's coming, and being grateful for as if it's done. So those 4 ways is how we're playing this particular channel. What was, what is, what's coming, and if it's done. So it was like, can you go to all of those places? Can you go to one of those places? And can you go to one of those places and drop into the energy and the frequency of thank you, universe, one more please? Can you do that? I run my entire life, on synchronicity, on unfoldings, on the energy that creates worlds. I run my business, I run my life, I run my abundance, I run my connections, I make my decisions from this place. It is an operating system. But what you want to do is you want to look at your life and say, whoa, not everything has to be a rainbow. Because not every day is a big rainbow for me. Not every day do I manifest butterflies. Although I do a lot, I bring a lot of butterflies, let's be honest. However, when you look at your life and say, I can be grateful for what was, what is, what's coming, and as if it's done, those states, and by the way, if you missed me detailing the frequency and vibration of those states, and you might say, well, I know what that is, and you do, but I help you activate that in session 1, like get in there and get into the distinctions. That's one of my gifts, is I'm a bit of a wordsmith, and I like to detail out these things so that you can grab a different frequency and up spiral with it. Does that make sense? So those 4 things, right? So let's pretend for a minute that you say, well, I'm going to be grateful for what was, and I'm going to go back to the day that the day I got accepted into this awesome program that I wanted to do, okay? So you got accepted into this major, beautiful program. You know it's going to like change your life, change your money, change your opportunities. It's going to up-level you as a human being. Oh my God, I got in, right? Something like that. You can be grateful for what was, and you can also be grateful for what is as you stand in the expression of that training. You can also be grateful in terms of what's coming because you're evolving as a entrepreneur, or maybe you're evolving in life, or maybe you're evolving in your studies. I don't know how, I'm talking broadly. And then there's this other thing that I can be grateful as if it's done for something that I desire that hasn't happened, but I can be in it like it has. So there's some like nuances in this that allow us to like pause, contemplate. The power of contemplation, you guys, is like amazing. I really like leaned into just like this idea that we can rest our attention on something and create a shift. The shift can be an aha all by itself, even when we're doing this level of work. Just feeling the tiny little shift within you is profound, because when you shift, life shifts. And so as I even rest my attention on that deep sense of gratitude for what was, is, coming, or as it's done, or as if it's done, and you notice what comes up within you, it's gold. Your resistance that you feel to this process is gold, by the way. It's here to teach you something. Your flow around this process is gold, by the way. It's here to show you something, another gateway, another unfolding. But I want you to feel into like the details of this so that you can really use it to manifest your life. Because the better that you get at feeling, I'm going to just say this, feeling the feels, right? The better that you get at the feeling place, the more powerful a creator that you become on all levels. So I want to encourage you to like start leaning into this work, because it's layered, right? One of the words when I was writing this, it was layers of magnetism are held within these 2 simple spaces. Layers of magnetism. So good. I'm seeing some comments now. Yay. So you did drop into this. Tell me how it felt. And then I want to talk to you about further expansion and embodiment, because I want to give you some really amazing thoughts on how I drop into this space and get so activated. So yeah, let me go back to that. What is an activation? I have to write that down for a sec. So you did this, and tell me how it felt. Those of you that did it, tell me how you felt. I'm seeing you guys. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, great, sweet. Tell me how it felt. Let's talk about how it felt, because it is the shift that I seek with you. So when I talk about activation, I want you to realize in its simplest way that when you turn your attention to, let me give you an example. When you turn your attention to anything, right, there's a part of you that becomes aligned to it. There's a part of you that gets activated in the vibration of what you're observing, of what you're feeling. So when I put on a horror movie, for example, and I turn my attention to that, I get very activated. All of a sudden, I can feel my energy kind of become one with that. And it is like, is it fun for some? Yes. Is it fun for me? Not so much. It doesn't work for me. And that goes with also sometimes when we watch the news, we can get super activated. You can feel that. So those are some really big, distinct energy shifts that you can feel have change when you, the word is that you feel when you expose yourself to them. Okay, so this is a different kind of more intentional, deliberate exposure. So let's feel something else. I want you to imagine placing your attention on this, even in your mind's eye, right? This glorious, beautiful butterfly sitting on a flower, right? Or place your attention on your bank account feeling so overflowing. Or place your attention on a piece of news that is like unbelievable good news, right? So you can feel that. So when you turn your attention to anything, and I just want to like gently remind you of some of the simple things, right? When you turn your attention to anything, there's a part of your energy that becomes a vibrational match to it. Is it your entire energy? Well, probably not your entire self. And you might say, I can like slice the energy. I can watch horror movies and I can watch the news and I can, fill my life with negativity and it doesn't affect actually my bank account. We can buy into something like that. We can buy into a kind of compartmentalization of life that would suggest I can like live this whole negative experience, not be super happy, but I can be a cash machine. Is that possible? Yeah, if you think so. But if you really want to stand in your true power and you really want to have a life filled with actual joy and actual abundance and actual conscious creation, activation of your power, it doesn't exist in the down spiral. It doesn't exist in emptiness. It doesn't exist in our unhealed stuff. It doesn't exist there. It exists in the healing of ourself, the healing of our worthiness, and the turning of attention to what the potential is as we connect to the field of consciousness, as we remember who we are. So I want you to feel into what it feels like. Play. I'm going to turn my attention to Freddy Krueger, and now I'm going to turn my attention to my overflowing bank account, whatever makes you happy, or I'm going to turn my attention to my amazing relationship. Feel the difference, right? So I want you to tap into the activation of the frequency. And what does activation mean? It could simply mean an observation. It could simply mean that. And so everything is on a spectrum, so to speak. There's an activation of a frequency that happens over here when you turn your attention to something. And then there's an activation of a frequency when you turn your attention to something and let it drop into you. And you allow it to get in your bones. And then there's an activation of a frequency that allows you to turn your attention to something, activate it in your bones, and then all of a sudden start living from it more often than not. And then there's another activation that happens when it becomes your philosophy. Then there's another activation that happens on that continuum that it becomes your philosophy. And now, oh my gosh, it has become my dominant frequency more often than not. And I'm feeling my power pick up. And oh my gosh, what is being revealed to me? All of these places that I can clean up my vibration because I feel so distinctly the difference between Kruger and my love. Does that make sense? That's how, it's on this continuum of evolution. That is why we are evolution of you, by the way, because it's a continuum. And so I want you to feel into this. There's another activation that says I'm going to deliberately work with my guidance and activate a powerful frequency with my guides, with the angels, with the fairies of the universe, with my inner being, that's going to literally do an activation sequence that's going to heal me on a level that I couldn't even understand with my mind. I'm opening myself up to that. There's another place on the continuum. You feel the healing journey. That's why we do the work. That's why we do the work, and it's why we step in. So while I don't want to shortchange the value of thank you, universe, one more please, I want you to know that what's under that is amazing and profound. And when you turn your attention, for starters, no matter where you are, by the way, so just because you might be over here activating, your frequencies over on the end of the continuum, and you've been a seeker for the last 25 years, it doesn't matter. We still come into we still tend to our sweet beginnings. We still tend to thank you, universe, one more please style beginnings, because it lends to movement back and forth across that continuum like an infinity loop. That's how we evolve as humans, because we never, ever, 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 ever walk away from contrast. We never, ever, ever, ever walk away from beliefs that don't serve us. So, unless you can walk away from beliefs that don't serve you and experiences that don't cause you pain and worth that doesn't need tending to anymore, magically, right? I'm not there. Unless you can say with confidence, I'm there. This continuum is on an infinity loop, and we need to always be tending to our basics and our expansion. It's like, oh my gosh. So I'm deep diving here. Okay. All right. I didn't expect to say all that, but that is the truth. So when we look at this activation, right? When we look at an activation, there are many points of what can feel like an activation, but where am I turning my attention? How am I allowing myself to be embodied? How am I letting myself feel? So if you look, let's dial back for a minute. If we dial back for a minute and say, well, an activation is a feeling space. You know what I mean? I can guarantee you that if you activate thank you, universe, one more please, it's going to be way easier to activate working with the divine intelligence on a high level release that will bring you to a next level of awareness or awakening. Guaranteed. Because humanity still exists. So this is the same reason why I have you love yourselves so profoundly and work on your worthiness as a step one. Self-worth comes first, for example, and so does gratitude. So does appreciation. These are inroads, guys. These are gateways to activate your magnetic center, and when you do, the continuum just starts to open up. So anyway, so how do we feel the feels? How do we even get in it? Because as human beings, I sure know that when I'm in my thing, when I'm bringing all my baggage to my life, for example, and I'm waking up going, oh my gosh, I have that real life to deal with and that real life thing to deal with, and I can't go sit, in meditation, or I just can't go be one with the flowers in my garden bed. Like, I actually have to maybe go to work or solve a problem or be on time for something or make money or, deal with conflict. Like, how do I feel the feels of this when life is? So I want you to remember a couple things. When you're going to, and let me know if this is helpful. That was a bit of a deep dive. Okay, Lori went off into the ethers for a minute. But let me know if that was an activation, by the way. If you turned your attention to it and it felt good, that was an activation. But I want you to feel, like some context of the depth of what's like awaiting for you after this point. And I also want to make a case for doing the basics even when we're advanced seekers. Okay? No matter where you are. So your garden. Jessica, you're like, I walked outside and just saw a butterfly. I love it. Perfect. Okay. And Laura, connected to the whole of me. Awesome. All right. Keep these comments coming. I love connecting with you. Okay, so how do you feel when you're in the thick of it? How do you get into this when you're in the thick of it? Well, of course, sometimes we have to pull up our spiritual bootstraps and be a little gritty and say, I'm digging in no matter what. I'm putting my alignment before anything. I always say alignment over circumstance. Now, with that said, I don't know how many times I've woke up and I've got like a heap of things on my plate and I'm feeling overwhelmed as a human being, as a mother, as a business owner. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah, alignment isn't the word of the day. And so I almost have to remember to go be in my alignment. There's this like, it's deliberateness that we have to bring our life to. And sometimes that's the hardest thing, because the mind, because the ego wants to pull you out of it. The mind and the ego are like, yeah, let's like go solve problems and just like get stuff done. And you know, you can put your alignment on the back burner. And the truth is, when we put our alignment on the back burner, it takes us about 40 times longer to get stuff done, to attract the things, and to create the healing that makes us a stronger person. The person that we want to be, to manifest the life that we want to live. So we actually delay the thing when we allow our ego to take us to the taskiness of life and the reactivity of life. So number one, you have to say, I'm going to bring my spiritual grit. And somehow, some way, I don't care if it's with post-it notes or alarms on my phone, I'm going to say alignment over I'm going to just remind myself alignment over circumstance. Maybe it's on your computer. Maybe there's a way, and those are Lori words, like use them if you want to, of course, but find a way to say alignment over circumstance. I had on my vision board, one of my boards, it said, what do you want to create today, Goddess? And that was my reminder to be in alignment over circumstance. So we have to make this like deliberate choice to like do the work. And then we have to say, okay, what is that work? Is it work up here in my mind of what I should do? No. It's work right here that I need to feel. So spiritual grit and alignment over circumstance means, am I willing to dive in and feel the feels? Am I willing to dive in and get into the feeling, layers of activation in this, for the purpose of what we're talking about? Thank you, universe. One more, please. And so some of the inroads that I've created for myself and that I've shared with like many of my students over the years have sounded like this. Because people will say, I can't get into it. I can't get into it. And I say, well, it starts a little spiritual grit. And then we have to love ourselves and appreciate ourselves enough to really like be willing to go activate that frequency, turn our attention to it, move away from the horror movies of life, move into the potential of life, move into the great gratitude for what was, what is, what's coming, and as if it's done. We need to like make a choice to do that. And then when we are there, we say, let this be embodied. Can I look at what was, feel me? Oh my gosh, I remember when I got accepted to that program. I remember when I chose that life path to better myself, for the education, for the certification, for the yada yada. I remember that. And let this be embodied. Can I drop into the feeling of the bravery, of the courage, of the momentum, of the certainty? Can I bring it, the memory of that day into my body? Can I be grateful for what was? Can I be grateful for what came of it? Can I be grateful for the journey? Can I look at that? Like, can I pick something in my life? And can I go from thinking about it to actually feeling about it and stating this? Oh, I stand in massive gratitude for that day. I made that choice. I stood up for myself for the first time ever. And oh my gosh, look where I am right now. I just so honor the divine unfolding that brought me this beauty, this experience in my reality, and this magic. I'm overwhelmed with appreciation. God, is that like, I could drink that, I could eat that moment for breakfast because it changed everything. Can we be, there's this choice, right? Let it be embodied. That means, this is how I talk about it, get it in your bones. When we get it in our bones, we allow it to go from thinking about it to feeling about it and letting it become the frequency of divine appreciation. And also, there is something to be said about the reveling in that. So I choose that word very carefully. So when we revel in the unfolding, it's like reveling is a match to the divine. It's like the divine mystery, the divine magic, the divine unfolding, that which we can't see. And it's to stand in such reverence of our guidance, of ourselves, of this life, of this growth, of this learning, of this evolution, that we couldn't for a moment be separate from the one more, please. You feel me? But we go into one more please with deliberateness to embody that too, because we say, and I open my heart and my mind and my soul for this and something more. Oh my God, one more. This is fantastic. This is how it's done. This is how we do it. Let it be embodied. And so I want you to write these words. Let it be embodied. Let it be embodied. Because when you go to what was, what is, what's coming, as if it's done, thank you, universe, one more please. Let it be embodied. It's this conscious choice to drop this in and let it be. And let it change you. So on every single level, you feel how you can command. You get to command, by the way, that which you desire in life. And when you come to do the manifesting work, we talk much more about that. But I want you to realize that right now in this moment, you're commanding your activation. You're commanding your embodiment. You're commanding your own evolution. Let it be embodied. But you don't let it be embodied from here. You drop in and let it be embodied. And maybe for a moment you feel it pulsing through your veins. Maybe for a moment you see all your cells lit up with such gratitude and appreciation, such unity, such magic, such power. Maybe you see your energetic, maybe you see your energy like opening and softening to the one more. Maybe you are suddenly becoming in alignment with your divine self, your, oh God, your birthright, which is to receive this and something more, your birthright of being a creator. Maybe you all of a sudden say, let it be embodied and let this world open up to the abundance that I seek. There is this, do you feel? Now, just for kicks and giggles, watch. I just like put this over here on a like pedestal for you, this glowing ball of frequency, because that's what we do. We put it on a ball in this frequency. We're like, oh my gosh, I could just like, ooh, I could just put it in me. Let it be embodied. And then all of a sudden we can go like over to this other thing. Name it, whatever contrast. And not that there isn't value in the contrast, but where do I want to be more embodied? I want to use my contrast, and I want to use my worst case scenarios of life. I want them to be teachers for me, and I want them to like launch my desires. I want them to launch my expansion, but I don't want to live over here embodied in my worry, embodied in my scarcity. Our work as light workers, by the way, if you're called to be a light worker in any way, shape, or form, I don't care what your profession is, right? I speak to all of you. It is to work through our own scarcity consciousness so that we can be in full abundance, presence to abundance and prosperity consciousness, because when we do, we actually clarify the light that we are and we change the world. Can you imagine how Thank You, Universe, one more please, in its simplest form, activates this vibration? It is our job to be here. So we can be over and I have the worry gene. Trust me, right? I have it. And every day I do what I can do to clear it. Because I say always the darkness shows up to be cleared. But every day, if it needs to be every day, or whatever the timeline is, whenever I'm feeling that, I do the work. But I want you to feel the power of being embodied here more often than not. That is the key. And when we do this work more often than not, and we stay in this kind of energetic alignment and consistency, and we like, what word did I use? Expose ourselves deliberately to frequencies that we want to embody, and then get into it, let it be embodied. Wow, we start walking around like, you're a different kind of firefly. That's all I know. We really are. We're different kind of fireflies. We're different kind of butterflies. We're different kind of energetic beings. I've never said it that way before, but like there must be someone that needs to hear firefly today. But feel me, right? So how do we continue to like allow ourselves to be embodied? Well, we say, I'm going to stand in deliberate reveling. I'm going to stand in deliberate awe. I'm going to allow this energy, and this is important, to like move within me, because gratitude, appreciation can be very static. You know what? Here's what I appreciate, right? I appreciate mommy, daddy, like my kids' prayers, like I was talking to you, and how beautiful that is. But there's that, like, I appreciate this, and this, but is it moving you? And I can guarantee if you get into a space of allowing the energy to flow through you, not to you, and allow it to move you, allow yourself to go, oh my gosh, I let this be embodied, and I let this be an imprint on the field of consciousness that brings me more of that which I desire. Oh, right? You are a powerful creator. I want to remind you of that. What's hard for us is consistency. What's hard for us is choosing alignment over circumstance. We're human. What's hard for us is putting ourselves first because we've been taught not to. Those are the things that are hard. And so when we make a practice of it, because manifestation is a practice, by the way, when we make a practice of it, whoa, life starts to respond differently. So what's on the other side of this embodiment, right? What's on the other side of this feeling place where you say, I'm going to get in my present moment, give myself complete permission to love myself, then I'm going to give myself permission to focus on that which I'm grateful for, what was, what is, what's coming, and as if it's done, pick one. And I'm going to lay this over. I'm going to drop and drag this vibration of thank you, universe, one more please, over one of those four things. And I'm going to let it be embodied. And I'm going to sit with this for a minute. And I'm going to allow myself to become one with that vibration. Become one with the vibration. You see this little light cascade? That's how we do the work here. I call them stacks. So this is like a mini thank you universe, one more please stack. And this isn't how I've always taught it. This is how I was called to teach it to you for this challenge. So I want you to feel the feeling of this. Let this cascade be something that you put into motion, because it is something that we do. But more than anything, it's something that I want you to feel. We can feel the feels, but we have to allow ourselves to go there. Sometimes we don't want to feel the feels because ego is like, I'm scared to death, actually, to find out what's on the other side of my feelings. Because if I find out what's on the other side of my feelings, I might do something different and make somebody else very upset. Now, there's 1,000 reasons why we don't feel the feelings. That's one. Okay, so you feel me on this? This is how we let it be embodied. There is some commanding energy in here. And you know what? There's commanding energy, and I want you to feel into the power that you have and the choices that exist for you to just step into that. It doesn't have to be difficult. It just needs to be practiced. And as it's practiced, oh my gosh, right? What happens when you practice? Magic gets to flow through you. So what's on the other side of the frequency, do you think? I'm going to ask you right now in this sweet little workshop, like, what's on the other side of the frequency that you're holding right now as we put this vibration on this beautiful, beautiful like pedestal so we can see it, we can feel it, we can touch it, we can take it, we can put it in us, we can say, I want to let this be embodied. What's on the other side of that for you? What would happen for you if more often than not, what would manifest in your reality? I'm going to go back to comments really quick, guys, because I can see them here. Is this resonating? Good. Now I'm seeing hearts on the community. So tell me if this resonates. What would be possible for you on the other side of this activated frequency? You tell me. I want to empower you. This framework is a beautiful one, but I would encourage you to make it your own, and I would encourage it. I would encourage you to allow your guidance to speak to you about what's on the other side of it, including any downloads that you have about direction that you need to go. That is what I want you to lean into. Where does my life need tending? Sometimes there's the darkness that's illuminated by the light, but the light also, by the way, illuminates this little piece of dark that is asking to be cleared. Like, oh my gosh, I'm standing in such light, I can actually see that little piece that wasn't working for me. Much more than anything, and I know there's a lot of oh my gosh, there's always a philosophy. There's always a perspective, a coaching philosophy, so to speak. But mine definitely is like, raise your vibe and reveal the darkness. And when the darkness shows itself, we'll clear it. Other times it's, I'm in my darkness, I need to turn on the light. You know, are they both the same? Yes, just different bends. So feel into this. Tell me what is on the other side of a high vibe frequency such as this, when you're like, let it be embodied. And I'm going to keep myself there. Alignment over circumstance more often than not. Starting right here. Thank you, universe. One more, please. Feeling into being on the field, getting detailed with what was, what is, what's coming, and as if it's done, being grateful, overlaying, thank you, universe, one more, please, and all of the depth of meaning that it is, and letting it be embodied and saying, what's on the other side of this? What's possible now? What is actually possible now? Tell me what that looks like for you. Tell me what that looks like. All right, you guys. I hope this was so helpful. Okay, so I see the time, and I want to encourage you to like keep this work up, because one shift leads to the next, leads to the next. I can't tell you what's on the other side of your alignment, but you can. And the more that you stay in this mode, the longer that you stay, the more consistent that you are, the more that unfolds. The more that you stay in alignment, the more that you have life responding to that alignment, and where you could be next week or tomorrow or the month after or the year after or the year after gets to be shown to you. So my vibrational frequency is a match to what in this state? What is this state a vibrational match to for me? Pretty amazing, right? Pretty amazing. Okay. I will jump on and I'm going to read your comments today. I'm seeing some beautiful conversation happening here, I think. Let me just tap in. Yeah. Hang tight. Hang tight. Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, let me read just a couple of these. Marlene, is work-life balance is one of the most difficult things to cultivate, but it's essential. Yes. So what's on the other, someone tell me also, like, what's on the other side of this vibration? I want you to feel into this so much. Jennifer, when I'm aligned, everything feels right. I am love and the universe is responding to me and beautifully magnetic. Yes. Laura, freedom, peace, knowing, trust, fearless, go with the nudges. Love it. What is on your vision? Let me ask this even more pointedly. Okay, because we all have a dream and we all have a desire, and you guys know, I mean, like, I love words and I love what is activated when we bring the energy of words to us, because it is energy work on so many levels. But I want you to ask yourself the question, what is on my vision board that is possible from this place? That is even more concrete. I can be way up in the clouds, but let me bring it way, way down, because this is the question that I want you to like feel. We feel so far away from our dreams, our desires, our abundance, the love that we want in our life. We feel so far away from that. And I want you to feel that the manifestation of those things, the joy that we have in life because we're creators, because we get to manifest the vacation or the love of your life or whatever, or the expression of your purpose. Like, I want you to feel into from this frequency, right? And me tending to my evolution, what on my vision board is possible from that? Because I want you to actually hook to it. How you're feeling right now as we do this work together, which I wanted today to be such a let's feel into this together. Embodiment, right? Let it be embodied. But like, I want you to feel the direct correlation between this vibe and what is possible on your vision board with it. Can you feel, am I a vibrational, you guys are all a vibrational match to your vision boards, right? Right now, because we're here, because we're so calibrated up. But I want you to say, what's on my vision board that I'm a vibrational match to because I brought myself here intentionally. It's awesome. So tell me what that is. And it could be a thing, and it could be an experience, but tell me what the thing is, because we're creators and we're here to create and expand and have joy through it. And I want you to stand in your power. So much fun. Okay. I hope you enjoyed today. I hope it was helpful. Drop me some hearts and let me know what your takeaways were. Tell me what was helpful for you, what you took away. And I'm excited to see you tomorrow. So with that said, I realize that we have a holiday tomorrow, but I will be here at 11 a.m. Central Time to finish up our last day and talk about some exciting things and wrap up this beautiful challenge and really like sink into it as we, lift off into the adventure. So I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye for now.